Today I've got this Mexican Strat here and it's buzzing pretty bad. So I'm going to show you how I go about diagnosing it to find the issue and how I'm going to fix it. I'm David, stringing it together, and let's dive in. So first off, I just want to talk about why a guitar might have that kind of buzz. It's still playing through the amp, but it has a lot of fuzz and it's not quiet when you turn the volume all the way down. So most of the time that's going to be what's called a grounding issue. So everything in your guitar, all the metal parts that are connected with the wires, should be grounded. Now that means it's sending it out into the amp, down into the wall, into the ground, I guess. Another thing, the common buzzing issue is if the strings aren't grounded. So when you put your hands on the strings, you should hear it kind of quiet down. Now, the reason that's there is because your body is actually kind of like an antenna, so it picks up on all kinds of signals like Wi-Fi and everything that's, flying around in the ether or whatever. So when you touch the strings, that sends all of that signal that's in your body out through the strings and down through the amp. So before we get too wild and crazy here, I'll show you just a real easy way how to actually diagnose and pinpoint the issue, so you're not just driving yourself crazy, taking things off and, trial and error kind of thing. So the first thing I would jump to is using this thing here, which is called a multimeter. Now this is kind of an expensive one. You can pick them up for fairly cheap. They're about like 20 bucks maybe. Haven't bought one in a long time. Now what that does is it tests the electrical flow or the current flowing through something or lack thereof. So let's start off here. I'll give you a close-up. Right now, I have this multimeter set to ohms, which is resistance. So that measures the resistance between 2 points. So if I put these 2 points together, there is zero resistance between them. These are sending an electrical signal through here, and that measures the resistance in between. Okay, so what you want for a properly grounded guitar is zero resistance between all the points. If you plug your guitar in, so I have this end plugged in here, and I just have the other end of the cable here. This sleeve of the cable is the ground, connected to the ground wire, and the tip of the cable is connected to the hot wire. So that's why you have this little plastic ring in between, because it separates the hot from the ground. Now, that'll make sense if I show you this, which is the inside part of a jack. So when I plug this in, the ground is connected to, these are two lugs here, so the ground is connected to this lug, right, because it's touching the sleeve. And then this one is is just a strip connected to this piece of metal here, which is touching the hot. So that's how that works. I'll pull that out. So since the sleeve is the ground, I can go through and I can test whether all of these little components are properly grounded. So I can touch this tone knob here, and there's zero resistance going from the tone knob to the ground. I can touch this tone knob here, zero resistance. I can touch this volume knob here. Now, the casing of the volume will be grounded. The actual volume lugs will be variable resistance depending on how high or low the volume is. The reading might be different on the tip of the switch, just because before you get to the electrical components, there's this strip of stainless steel. So it might show a little bit of resistance, so don't get fooled by that one. And the string should also be grounded, but it'll sort of be the similar thing. So if I put this on here, reach around the back, there should be some resistance, but it's showing here that there's no connection whatsoever. It's just maximum resistance. They're not connected. Now, just to be straight up with you, I kind of saw this before. This is where the string ground obviously was, and this wire coming out of it is broken. Now, I looked right there when I first did the test run through, because when I put my fingers on the strings, it didn't deaden the sound. So I kind of figured it might be a string ground issue, and then I flipped it over and it was right there. So I just thought it would make a good video of showing you sort of the diagnostic process if it's not super obvious right away. So sometimes you might want to take these strings right off. I've just got them really loose so that I can take this out. And you don't want to kink the strings or anything here. And it's good to have a cloth to flip it over. So this, not sure why this tape is there. Just going to take that right off. And this obviously just broke. So yeah, already got more work than I had planned for, but might also make a better video than I had planned for. So let me take you through the path just so you can understand how I know where this is coming from. So the pickups are all going to the same side of the switch. So the neck goes to the lug on that side, the middle and the middle lug, and then the bridge on the end lug. And then the commons are connected, so the sides are connected, and then you have the out going to the volume. Since we've got one volume, this must have been connected to the volume, because it wouldn't make sense otherwise. It wouldn't go from, it's not going from the pickups to the volume, obviously, to the switch and then to the jack like sometimes it does. It's going from the pickups to the switch to the volume to the output jack. So it should be pretty easy just to solder that back to the volume. So if all of this is going over your head in terms of the path and following the path and how the switch works and how the volume works and everything, I recommend going down to the description, and you can find a guitar wiring cheat sheet as well as a playlist that you can follow along, and that'll give you a foundation of just the basic components of guitar wiring. So your volume pots, your tone knobs, your switch, how it all functions, just before you start ripping things apart. But I might as well pause now and just show you this here, which is a 5-way switch, and how it actually functions. Which from the inside looks similar to a 3-way switch, but you know it's a 5-way because it has 5 positions. So there's still 2 sides and 4 lugs. There's a common, and then there's 3 lugs on either side. And the reason it's called the common is because it's always connected to the other 3 lugs on the same side. So this one here is the common. Now I'll show you why it's always connected, because the connection point internally of the switch is this strip here. So when I turn the switch, it either connects, right now only this lug is connected to this. Now next position, these 2 are connected. Oops. Now only this one's connected. Now this one and this one. And then you guessed it, just this one is connected to the common. Now the opposite side is the opposite, so the common is on this side and this is always connected, but it's the same sort of mirror image of this on the other side. I'm going to solder that output back on, and I like to put a good glob of solder on the lug. I know some people like to hook it around, but I find that makes things more difficult if you're taking it apart. So what I like to do is just put a little glob on the actual lug so it's totally coated and is fused with the lug. And then I poke the tin wire into the hole while holding the soldering iron on the other side. But that turns out not to be the only job that needs to be done. So just trying to figure out where to put that string ground, but I also noticed this right here. So these are the 2 tone pots, which should be basically grounding the highs with the capacitor here. But so it goes into here and then into the capacitor, then into the ground. But this one is going into here, and then it looks like it broke off here. Maybe this got turned or something, and this was supposed to be connected. So I'll have to reconnect those in order for this tone knob to work. So not necessarily wrong to have the capacitor on the middle lug there, but I'm just going to take it right out and redo it. So I did all the resoldering and forgot to hit record, but you can see that I switched the input into the middle just so they're both the same, and then I just hooked up the output lug to the cap so they're both on the same side there. But just like an old house, if you start demolishing it, you start finding all kinds of weird things. Well, it's the same as this guitar because there's more. Okay, so this is the other weird thing. So you've got this wire, which is grounded on the back of the overcrowded pot here, running to this screw. And then you've got this bare wire going to the output jack, which is connected, looped around the screw right here, maybe in an attempt to ground this casing here. But The other thing that happened when I took this off was the grounding wire for the output jack just came right off. So I don't know if they tried to tape it or something, but kind of looks like that. So first thing I'll do is I'm just going to take this screw out and then I'll solder that back on, and then I'm just going to get rid of this wire because I don't really think it will be necessary. See, here's a good example of why you shouldn't hook on your wires when you're soldering lugs, because it just really gets kind of annoying when you're trying to take it off. This looks like it's all wrapped around there, and you get kind of these little stray copper wire hairs that you almost have to pull out with pliers. Just it's like a little game of operation here. So a better way to do it is to make sure you got a nice twist on the end there, and then you come in there to pre-tin the wire, come underneath, and then once it heats up enough to wick into the wire, then you come in over top with the solder and tin that wire end so it's ready to go. You want to have enough solder on the actual lug to cover up the hole. That way it'll be kind of like a pool that you can just dip into with the pre-tinned wire. And there really will be no difference in terms of strength whether you hook it or not, because keep in mind that solder is actually metal. So once you let it cool down, which happens in a couple seconds, it'll be so strong that you can pull on that. Now back to the first problem, which was the string ground. So I just want to show you when you attach that wire, the difference in sound. Got my amp cranked here, touching it, off, on. So since it'll be different for different guitars, you can kind of test it out that way to find a good spot for it. But in this case, here's where it obviously was, so I'm just going to put it back where it was. And takes it a little bit to heat up sometimes since that's stainless steel, and you do want it to fuse to the stainless steel, so you really want to take your time with that. You don't have to worry about breaking it like a pot. So even after all that, I ended up doing more. I switched out the volume pot, which was this tiny little pot, and when I took it out, since the writing was on the top, I realized that it was a 500K pot, which is not typical for a Stratocaster. Typically it would be 250K, and it does look like somebody had replaced this. It doesn't look like a factory job because it was just so loaded up with the grounding wires. It looked a little bit weary, but you can test it out if you're unsure just by using this method. So you place the prongs on either side and then turn the volume slowly up, and it should read within at least 10% of 500. I kind of wish I had a before and after of the way the pickup sounded before, because then you could actually compare the 250K pot new versus the old crappy 500K pot, but nevertheless, it sounds pretty good now. And I put out a video every week, so make sure to hit that thumbs up and turn on your notifications. That way you'll get notified for the next video. And that's all for now. I'll see you next week.